Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are doing a deep dive on chapter 16 of The Only One.
Ooh.
You know, the one where Jiang Tian and Sheng Wang's relationship takes that really interesting turn after the whole barbecue thing with the classmates?
Yes.
Buckle up, because this is where things get really interesting between these two.
Yeah, it's subtle, but chapter 16 is like a hinge for their whole dynamic.
Right.
We're seeing the gears shift from awkward encounters to something,
Yeah.
well, more vulnerable.
Right. It's like the author is really starting to peel back like another layer of their personalities.
Yeah.
And I found myself like noticing all these little details that I hadn't like picked up on before.
Right.
Like at the beginning, Sheng Wang is with his classmates back then,
Yeah.
and he seems fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he corrects Zhao Xi about the number of beers they've had.
Yes.
Did that stand out to you at all?
Absolutely. He's so insistent that it was 4 beers, not 3.
Right.
It's such a small detail.
Yeah.
But it speaks volumes about Sheng Wang's character. He's got this need to be in control, to have things be precise.
Yeah.
Especially when he's around Jiang Tian.
Right.
It's almost like he's trying to project this image of effortless composure even when he's had a few drinks.
Like he's got this invisible armor on or something around Jiang Tian.
Totally.
And speaking of Jiang Tian,
Yeah.
Zhao Xi gets that phone call
Yeah.
and reveals that Jiang Tian advised him not to let Sheng Wang drink too much.
Oh, awkward.
I mean, talk about awkward. Like, how do you come back from that?
Right.
But of course, Sheng Wang just brushes it off.
Of course.
Says they're not that close.
Classic Sheng Wang.
Yeah, but what I thought was really fascinating was his internal monologue right after that.
Yes.
He questions why Jiang Tian would even care,
Right.
which I think shows that deep down, like
Yeah.
Jiang Tian's concern isn't so easily dismissed.
Exactly. On the surface, he's downplaying their connection, but inwardly, there's this whole internal struggle brewing as his feelings for Jiang Tian grow stronger. Right.
And it's this conflict between what he shows externally and what he feels internally. It's like a recurring theme for Sheng Wang, isn't it?
Totally. And, while he's busy denying any closeness,
Right.
Jiang Tian is actually on his way to the restaurant.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Remember, up until this point, Jiang Tian has been pretty reserved, almost distant towards Sheng Wang.
Yeah.
So him going out of his way to pick up a drunk Sheng Wang,
Wow.
that's huge.
Yeah.
It completely changes the entire trajectory of their relationship.
Right.
This is where chapter 16 takes a really fascinating turn when you say.
Oh, totally. Like it's a silent acknowledgement that there's something there.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally. And remember how Sheng Wang seems completely sober, like, as they're leaving?
Right.
He even corrects Zhao Xi again. It's almost comical at that point. Like, how many times?
It's like he can't help himself.
Yeah.
He's got to cling to that sense of control.
Yeah.
Even though it's clear the alcohol is like having an effect.
Yeah.
Totally. And then it's like that facade kind of crumbles a bit when they get in the car.
Right. Yeah.
That's when we see this incredibly vulnerable side of Sheng Wang. That he just slumps down in the car.
Oh.
Almost like he did back in Uncle Chen's car, remember?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
It
no.
was such a stark contrast to how he usually is.
Totally. What do you make of that?
It's like so telling.
Yeah.
You know? That unconscious mirroring of his posture with Uncle Chen.
Yeah.
It makes you think like, how deep does that connection go?
It suggests like a deep level of comfort and trust
Yeah.
with Jiang Tian. Even if he doesn't consciously realize it,
Yeah.
like in this relaxed state, his walls are down.
Uh-huh.
And we see this glimpse of the genuine Sheng Wang
Yeah.
beneath the like carefully constructed facade.
Yes. And it's in this vulnerable state that he makes that confession.
Oh, yeah.
You know? They all think I'm close to you. Like he talks about how everyone assumes that they're close, but they barely even talk to each other.
Right.
And it's just like so raw.
Yeah. And honest? Yeah, it's the alcohol talking, sure, but...
But it's also Sheng Wang's heart.
Exactly.
Yes.
And this has clearly been weighing on him. This disconnect between how other people perceive their relationship
Right.
and the reality of their very limited interactions.
Yeah. And what I love is Jiang Tian doesn't shy away from it at all.
Right.
Instead of like brushing it off or changing the subject,
Right.
he engages with it.
He leans in.
He asks, who do you mean by they? It's subtle, But it's such a powerful shift in their dynamic, I think.
Right. He's not just letting it slide.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to dig deeper into this.
Yeah, explore this.
Yeah.
Unspoken tension between us.
Totally. And then we get that hilarious exchange about the cockroach poison.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Yes. Did you laugh out loud at that part?
I did. I thought it was so funny.
Oh, such a good...
Because he doesn't correct him immediately.
No.
Like, he just lets him believe it for a second.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny.
It's just like a little, like a little inside joke.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh.
Like we're on the same wavelength here.
Yeah, like we're starting to get each other.
Yes. It's great. It's such a refreshing change, isn't it?
Yeah.
This like playful banter.
Yeah.
The shared laughter.
Yeah, it's like...
It's something we haven't really seen between them before.
Exactly. It speaks to this like newfound comfort level, willingness to let their guard down.
Yeah.
And just be themselves.
Totally.
Yeah.
And this shift in their dynamic.
Yeah.
It really kind of permeates the rest of their interactions in this chapter, right?
Totally.
It's like chapter 16 is like this turning point for them.
Yeah.
By the end, they're not those two distant figures circling each other anymore.
Right.
There's this new sense of openness.
Yeah.
A willingness to like connect on a deeper level.
Absolutely. And it makes you wonder, like, where do they go from here?
Right.
Right? Will they continue to like chip away at these walls that they've built around themselves? Or will they kind of retreat back into their old patterns?
Right.
Ugh, the author leaves us hanging.
I know. And it makes you want to go back and reread earlier chapters.
Yes.
And see if you can spot like
totally
hints of this. Like
were there signs of this all along?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm left with a lot to think about after unpacking chapter 16.
Me too.
What about you? Anything else stand out to you?
You know, it's the small gestures that really get me.
Yeah.
Like Jiang Tian making the decision to go pick Sheng Wang up. The way he leans into that confession. It's like they speak volumes about like...
Totally.
The subtle shifts happening.
Yes. It's like they're finally starting to see each other for who they really are.
Yeah.
Vulnerabilities and all.
Totally.
And that's a powerful thing.
It is.
Well, on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into chapter 16 of The Only One. Don't forget to join us next time when we'll be exploring chapter 17. Until then, happy reading.